Let's get started, I guess, huh? I'm very happy to be here. Excuse me for not speaking any Greek than Kalispera. And yeah, my name is Martin Frechen. I'm managing director of the Steinel group. And thanks to Samba Eliezer, I'm very happy to be here today, Elia Lazarus. And I will talk a little bit about Steinel. And in the next time, if you have questions, ask questions, okay? Maybe you can ask questions right away. So Steinel is a very innovative company. A lot of things actually have been invested by our company. The company was founded in 1959, and our goal is to make technology that helps people and helps us in a more sustainable future. So, just a few rough figures so that you have an idea. We are a typical German mid-sized company, about 200 million in sales. We have many employees, as I will show later, because we make all products by ourselves and only in Europe. This is our setup. So here you have headquarters in the somewhat northwest of Germany. Maybe you know Dortmund, that is about 1 hour away. And then we make all plastic parts in Germany, Leipzig. We make all electronic parts in Switzerland. And then the product is finally assembled in Romania and in Moldova, our own factories for many, many years. And this here in Liberec, this is one of our development sites where we develop all mechanical parts. What is our vision? I mean, why do we get up every day? What do we think? So you can see here, this is a human being. How do we usually function, especially at this time of the day? We have sensory organs. We have the eyes, the nose, the ears, and we perceive our environment. Then the next thing is we start to think. We have a brain. And we do actions. And depending on the actions, we actually learn. Everybody knows, everybody that has children, you're in the kitchen and you know the stove is really nice, and the child goes, oh, this is interesting, I put my hand on. You do this once. You know, you don't do this more often. So we love this vision to be taken to the building, because today buildings are not intelligent. Buildings, if you take a cave, you know, actually in times of cavemen, you had a fire. It was all in one system. You had light, you had heating, and you could cook. Ever since then, our buildings have developed, but they're not working like this. If you take a car today, any car, modern car, has about 60 to 100 sensors. And it helps us to stabilize on the road. Maybe somebody's running, the car is braking. And our buildings don't do that. So there might be a little bit of automation in the building, but going forward, there should be more. Because buildings do consume so much energy, and we are most of our lives inside of buildings. So buildings really have to do something for us and not the other way around. So what is our role as Steinel? We want to be the sensory organs, the eyes, the ears, and the nose of the building. We want to perceive what is going on inside of buildings. And then, in order to bring it to some analytical place, you have to have communication. We are a strong believer of standardized communication, and not proprietary. So this is why we are using KNX, IP, Bluetooth Mesh standard, and DALI 2 standard. So wire or wireless, our products work with everything. Right now, we are mostly taking care of heating, of lighting, but in the future, and I will show you during the presentation, we can as well give very valuable data to heating, ventilation, and other electronical actuators in the building. Why? Why do we do this? She has to be happy. You know, us men know, happy wife, happy life. That is a given. But people inside of buildings have to feel comfortable. If you go into a building and it's too noisy, you don't feel comfortable. If you're going into a building and the air is kind of, you know, the light is kind of not pleasing to your eyes, you don't feel comfortable. If it's too cold, you don't feel comfortable. If it's too hot. So, yes, we need to be more efficient. Absolutely. You know, right now it's 30 degrees in Greece. So I think it's a little proof of climate change. We like it because it's like yesterday we were sitting outside in a beautiful restaurant and we were like, oh, this is like summer. Back home in Germany, 12 degrees and rain, you know, you walk like this, here you sit like that. So we have to become more efficient, more sustainable. We have to save energy. We like more safety, but at the end of the day, it's about well-being. We were talking about the WELL standard. So this is what we believe in. Put the human in the middle, build a building so that people feel comfortable and have the surroundings of the building to please people. Public transportation, recreational areas, restaurants. So this is really the goal. In one sentence, increase the quality of life, be sustainable, and to make it easy for everyone, save money. So, what are the fields of application that we're in? We have products for many applications. Home and garden, apartment buildings, parking and transportation, industry and logistics, offices and workspace, education, and very importantly here in Greece, hospitality. I mean, Greece is one of the #1 countries for Europeans to go on holiday. I've been countless times in many parts of Greece. I love it here. And then, going forward, healthcare. So we will talk about that a little bit during my presentation. Thinking about business, what can we offer? I like food. You know, but with me, food and drinks, I like that very much. So we have different levels of sensor technology, lighting intelligence, building intelligence. So sometimes it's good if you have a simple gyros. Sometimes you might have a nice fine fish dish, or maybe even you have a beef fillet. But you cannot afford a beef fillet every day, and maybe it's boring as well. So these products here, sensor technology, are standalone products that you might know from the past. So this is a simple, but yet very reliable and long-lasting motion detector. So what does it do? You screw it to your wall, you branch it up to a luminaire, it gets dark, it gets activated, you walk by, the light goes on. It saves you energy, it's comfortable, and it increases your safety. This is a twilight switch. The new one that we have at the booth actually is a twilight switch combined with a time clock. And this one is a very good one, yet basic motion detector for all the applications if you only want to switch on and off the light. What we like to compare light with is water. Water is a very important resource for humans. So think about if you have a water running all the time, 24/7, it's just running. And then you feel like I need to wash my hands, and you go there, you wash your hands, and you go back. And you keep it running. People would say, you're crazy, you're wasting. But if you think about light, we just let the light run all the time. So sensors help you to turn it on and off when you need it. And how we can do this the most intelligent way, I will show you in a minute. These are outdoor luminaires. Nice for villas, for example, or here, floodlights, for any kind of purpose, on the garage, outside of buildings. Again, light is only on when it's needed. There's no connection to anything, there's no wireless transmission, but these are simple, everyday products that everybody can sell on the shelf, and they're very reliable. How does it compare? If you have no sensor, you know, again, my example of the running water, no saving. If you have a twilight switch, you have 50% of savings. Why? Because over 365 days of a year, the night is always 12 hours long. But if you have a sensor and you only need the light when you need to wash your hands, I mean when you're walking by to your house, you can save up to 95% of energy. And the good thing is, this saving you don't need to sacrifice. I was giving that example before. We all like doing things we like to do. I like to travel to other countries. I mean, I came by plane. Is this sustainable? No. I like to eat meat. Would it be better to eat tofu? Yes. So whenever we have to change to a more sustainable behavior, we need to sacrifice. Here you don't need to sacrifice. The technology is helping you to just conduct a more sustainable life. Now we come to lighting intelligence, the middle part, which is actually a different animal. It's a system. You can see here, it works on Bluetooth mesh. Bluetooth mesh that we do use is a standard. Basically, Kazambi is Bluetooth as well, but it's proprietary. So they say, it's my language, I don't share that language. We share our language. We share it together with Jung, you know, the switches, Hefele from hotels, Nimbus Lighting, and there are many more companies that are thinking of joining because we would like to have a standard just like DALI or KNX. Share the standard, and then it's way easier. You don't have to think about, oh, is this working, is this not working? So you have an app, you have the Bluetooth, you have different kinds of luminaires, and you have auxiliary devices. I will show you how that works. This is, from the outside, a residential multifamily place in Switzerland. The staircase is from glass. They did have fluorescent light with a twilight switch. So very simple, when it was getting dark, the light was on. It was on all night, regardless if there was somebody going up or down, and in the morning it turned off. We brought in our technology, and that works like this. When there's a person coming, the light is activated, and wherever that person is walking, this person always has enough light. And you can see the light goes to a dimmed version, and then it turns off. Everybody of you, and you're all specialists, knows if you want to do this with DALI, you have to pull 5-wire cables. You have to do a setup through a DALI specialist, and you have to do a lot of work. Here, you don't need to do all of that. All you need to have is 230 volts. So, very simply, you take down the old luminaires, you mount the new luminaires, and then the grouping, the setup, is all done through the app that works on your iPhone, on your Google phone, on your iPad, no matter what. And everybody that is using a smartphone instead of a flip phone is able to use that app. It's really simple. 15 minutes of maybe introduction, and then people say, the electricians say, you know, I can do this. It's easy. Now you might ask, is there a server? Is there central intelligence? No. The whole intelligence is in the network. So think about a swarm of fish. You know, fish swimming through the ocean. They're all the same size, right? There's not a big whale in the middle, like the boss, and then there are the sharks, and then there's the tuna, and then there's the little ones. No, it's all the same. So they share the information of the Bluetooth mesh in the system. And that is the great part about it. So for renovation of buildings as well as new build, you do not need anything but 230 volt. And we even have on top of that system components to hook up, for example, other DALI luminaires, normal luminaires, dimmers, push buttons. You can integrate it into the system, and with hardly any work, you transfer a normal building to an intelligent lighting building. So, what kind of luminaires do we have? We have those luminaires, for example, for staircases. We are really there where people want light, but they never care about turning the light off. So, staircases, corridors, as well as parking garages. I mean, parking garages, if you drive around cities, parking garages are always on, like a Christmas tree. It doesn't matter if there's anybody in, nor is there any motion or anything. It's just switched on. And as you can see here, in this example of that parking garage, again, we saved 92% of energy. So you can do a lot of savings, have better light, and more comfort. So the way I'd like to put it is actually like you're eating chocolate, and at the same time, you're losing weight. So very nice, huh? So this, for example, is a parking place here in Cologne. We saved, again, 94% of energy. And one interesting thing, everybody's talking about let's plant trees to save the environment, right? Especially 2 years ago. Now, a grown-up tree is only taking 12.5 kilograms of CO2 from the atmosphere, which I find quite little. So if you look in this project where we saved 16 tons of energy, it actually corresponds to almost 1,300 trees. So we did that in the middle of Cologne, and you can think that there virtually was a forest that has grown overnight. We have another big project in Frankfurt, and the exciting part here is this was not the change against fluorescent light, this was the change against LED. So even if we change LED, we were able to save more than 70% and almost 70 tons of energy, of CO2. So now you might ask, is this more expensive than conventional technology? Yes, it is, but the payback time is usually less than 2 years. So there's a lot of good reasons to go into that sort of intelligent lighting. And I mean, every city everywhere has parking. And all that people want is the light on when I'm there. They don't care if the light is off when they're gone, or maybe dimmed down. So now we come to the third part. That was what we call building intelligence. Building intelligence, we have a category, we call them smart space sensors. So what does that mean? So you have a space, and the question is, what do we know about that space? What does the building know about that space? Does the building right now know that there are, let's say, 25 people sitting in this room? No. Would it be good for the building to know that? Absolutely. So this one here, the first technology, True Presence, especially is great for an hotel application. Why? True Presence, and this is why we called the product like this, is measuring your body movement when you're doing nothing. So, I mean, what is nothing? What is your body still doing when we're doing nothing? We're breathing, right? So when you're breathing, actually your shoulder and your breast goes up a little bit like that, just millimeters. And that is enough as a signal for the sensor to know that there is a human being. And it doesn't matter if you're sitting, or if you're lying, or if you are in a hotel room and you're completely covered with a blanket. It still sees you. So let's think what we can use this for. Hotel. People that are going to hotels behave not like they behave at home. They use fresh towels every day. They put the air conditioning at whatever degree. They say, I pay when I come back. I want it cool. Like yesterday, we spoke about a case in Mykonos, 5-star plus, rich Arabs going, and they put the temperature at 17 degrees. Outside it's 36, and inside it's 17 degrees. Okay, so what did the KNX guy do? When they used the room, he basically took an image of the room, and when he left the room, the air conditioning went up to 26 degrees, down to 26, no up, sorry. In the minute where he then opens the door handle, he got the signal from the door handle, and the whole room goes back to the old scenario, 17 degrees. Now the people didn't even notice, because if you're coming from 36 degrees to 26 degrees, it feels fresh. I mean, 17, you would be like frozen, you know, it would be terrible. This guy used to have an electronic or electrical bill of €1 million every year. And now this is cut in half. So, you know, everybody wins in this situation. We have used this product. There's a big cruise ship right now that was built for Disney. It has more than 2,500 cabins. So it's like a swimming city almost. And we have one of those sensors in every cabin, exactly for the reason to manage the air conditioner. From whatever they want to an eco mode. And by this, the multiplication, they were able to get rid of one of the big diesel engines, because obviously on a cruise ship, you have to produce your own energy by burning natural resources. As you can see here, furthermore, there's a lot of further aspects that that sensor can give you. Besides true presence and brightness, temperature, humidity, CO2, VOC, air pressure and noise. Now, does anybody know what VOC is? It's volatile organic compounds. It's smell. So some smell is nice, some smell is maybe not so nice. But basically, if you are carrying around a nice pizza, you know, little organic compounds are flowing through the air, and this is what is a smell. So this sensor tells you, is there anybody? And for example, let's say again, we're in a hotel, it gives you the noise level. So let's maybe say somebody's making a party. And for them, it's great. But for the surrounding rooms, it's not great. So if you then at reception get a signal, oh, room 211 is really loud noise, before you know the neighbors are complaining at the reception, you go upstairs and say, hello, maybe you should stop this. The smoke detection, the same thing. You know, people still smoke in hotel rooms, so you can detect the smoke. So this smart space or sensor gives you a lot of information, not only for lighting, but for everything in the building. Heating, ventilation, security systems, plus guest service. I mean, think about, everybody now has earpods. Everybody's listening to the music or whatever. Now you might be in your underwear dancing in your room and all of a sudden room service is in front of you. You're like, it's uncomfortable for both parties. It's like, You feel embarrassed, they feel embarrassed. It's like, oh my God, I'm going, okay? So the staff knows, looking on their iPad, is there anybody in the room or not? They know, so you can really do what we call invisible guest service. The reception knows, everybody knows, but it doesn't know who it is, only that there is somebody. So it gives you a lot of good, valuable information. And now we come here, it's EO. EO is the Latin word for there. And we call EO the feel-good manager. So if the goal of the building is the well stand and everybody to feel good, he does everything that this happens. So what can he do? He can count the people in rooms without a camera. So if we had, for example, one here and one there, maybe actually we would need 4 for that room, it creates a grid of 5 by 7 meters and then 60 by 60 centimeters little plates, and if there's somebody, it can count it. Besides, it can do everything else that True Presence can, but it's a different technology. Now, why is people counting so important? And here we show you a little bit how that works. There's an app, you can set that up. Again, let's take an example from a conference room. Let's say 2 people are going to a big conference room, having a meeting. What happens with the air quality? Nothing. It stays what it is. It doesn't get warmer, it doesn't get cooler. But let's say the room gets really full. 40 people are in that room. All of a sudden it becomes a little warm. Somebody is starting to feel uncomfortable earlier than somebody else. Then finally somebody gets up, looks for the air conditioning and plays on the air conditioning. What do they do? Decrease the temperature, increase the airflow until people are starting to feel comfortable again. Meeting takes 2 hours, meeting is over, everybody's going out. What happens next? Nothing. There's nobody in the room, the air conditioning is working under full load, and then after 4 hours, there are 2 people coming into the room and they say, oh, this is very cold here. Oh my God, I have to start the heating. So a lot of energy has been wasted. This sensor counts, there's 40 people in the room, tells the heating and ventilation system, the HVAC, there's 40 people, slowly start decreasing the temperature and increasing the airflow. People do not feel uncomfortable. They have their meeting, they feel at ease, they feel good. The meeting is over, the count is, there's nobody, and the air conditioning is going back to a normal mode. So that is very, very important. But there are more examples for that. And we will come to that in a minute. Flex desk areas, besides conference rooms management. Now, the question might be, how do I get the data? People say, I need the data. So there are 2 ways. We have KNX, we have DALI, we have IP as a connection to if there might be a building management system. But if there might not be a building management system, we have our Capstone software. So there is a Bluetooth IP gateway that you can buy from us. It collects all the data that is there via Bluetooth, transfers it to IP, and then either via MQTT, BACnet, or REST API, those are the 3 languages, gives it to the system, and then we can visualize it. We can say, okay, how is the temperature going? For example, this here is a heat map. This actually has been at Light and Building at our booth. You can see there was a lot of interest here. This was the KNX area. And this was where people sat down and had something to eat and drink. So you can analyze your space, and the black box of a building is now becoming transparent without infringing personal rights. It's not about saying that Mr. or Mrs. Smith has been there. No, we don't care. We just want to know how has the room been used. Now, there's a lot of people now, at least in Germany, I'm not sure about here in Greece, that are working from home office, after COVID. So you might have a building in the center of Athens, very expensive, 6th floor, top state-of-the-art workspaces. And you're walking around and like, where's everybody? Where are they all gone? And then you get, they're working from home, they're seeing customers, they're on vacation somewhere. And you don't know. You have the feeling like, I don't need 6 floors. Maybe I need 3, maybe I need 2, but I don't know. Now, with EO, you will know. And you can manage. So people, let's say you have flex desk areas, and let's say this would be one. People can book this table. But the question is there anybody? With EO, you can monitor that and say, wow, there's somebody, and how much has this been used? And you can use it afterwards as well, for example, for cleaning. Do I need to clean this? Yes, no. Well, there has been nobody. Maybe on Monday and Friday is where most of the people might stay at home. So you don't need to do this. And over time, you can analyze data from the whole building, and you might be able to reduce it from 6 floors to 3 floors. So we say EO definitely contributes to the fact that we will make the world a better place. So inside of hotels, you can use our products basically everywhere. And we have many hotel projects, and I hope now we will have many hotel projects in Greece. But you can use them in the guest rooms, in the conference rooms, in the offices of the staff, for the parking, in the staircases, in the corridors. And we have the right product for everything. Our corridor sensors are covering 25 meters because they are based on high frequency technology. And the beauty is, since this is high frequency, it's not depending on heat, it's depending on motion. You open the door to the corridor, the light is on. Was it off before? I don't know. But at home, if you open the door of your fridge, do you know for sure that the light has been off? You don't care. As long as you see your vegetables in the light, that's what you need. So we have great solutions for hotels. What are the benefits? Energy savings, management of the cleaning staff, you get all the datas, and especially if you go into the high frequency technology, since it's penetrating thin materials, you can even mount it above a false ceiling. So if you have a toilet room, for example, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 little cabinets plus 2 washing spaces. With passive infrared technology, you would have to have line of sight. If you don't see the sensor will not see you. High frequency, you place one in the middle, even maybe hide it. Architects like technology that they cannot see, and it covers the whole room. This is a technology that really only Steinel does offer. Hospitality room management, I think we came across that. From check-in to HVAC control, energy saving, and room service. This is actually the hotel that was used as a playground when they were building the big cruise ship next door. This is an office building in Amsterdam called The Flow, very automated, very high-end. And we use the True Presence KNX for lighting, heating, and ventilation. So there is a middleware called Darwin from a partner, so you can basically automate your building around our smart sensors. We talked already about the car park and the car management. Again, 92% of energy savings. This is not something that we have measured. This has been measured by a third party from Switzerland, the Swiss Lighting Society. Meeting room management. If you go to certain trades like consultants, or you go to Deloitte, you go to Ernst & Young, they always have conference rooms. They are equipped with a lot of expensive material, and so far their biggest problem is it free? Because if you have a meeting, let's say, I just came from university, I'm a fresh guy, I'm an associate, I would never open the door of my partner. I just wanted to check if this was free. You don't do this. So instead, if the calendar shows everything is booked, you might go next door to the Sheraton Hotel and book a conference room for a lot of money. So make the space visible, but on an anonymous basis. Flex desk management. Many times people have those small sensors underneath with a battery. What do you do if the battery dies? Sometimes people take a chewing gum, stick it on the lens and say, I don't care. You can't do that with EO. It's up on the ceiling. You don't get there. So, this is what we can do from everyday product that you can buy for normal competitive prices to intelligent lighting system, to building intelligence. And we're very happy now that we now have a new partner with Samba Eliezer. And very happy to be here again in Greece and continue that path. And we will hope to be able to do great business with you. Thank you.